Lindell TV is pleased to present the Sentinel Report with your host, Alex Newman. Alex has written for a wide array of publications in the United States and abroad. He currently serves as a contributor to Epoch Times and foreign correspondent and senior editor for the New American magazine. Alex is the author of several books and has been a guest on countless radio and television programs and is a much sought-after conference speaker. Alex is best known for his reporting and research that has exposed the dangers and agenda of globalism. As the father of 5 children, Alex is working to defend faith, family, and freedoms from the hostile philosophies and ideas that are contrary to the Bible and the United States Constitution. And now, here is your host, Alex Newman.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sentinel Report. It is great to have you with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a very special guest today who's got a new film out that is just, it's on a subject that you guys know is near and dear to my heart. We have got to stop what they're doing to our children. And I will never stop saying it. As long as the Lord gives me breath, I will continue to advocate against these abuses. And our guest coming up is going to break down some of that. And it's got an excellent new movie out to talk about it. So stay with us for that. We've also got important news, a lot going on in the world. But before we get there, we'll start with a word from the Word. This comes out of Romans chapter 16, verse 17. It says, I appeal to you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions and create obstacles contrary to the doctrine that you have been taught. Avoid them. Powerful reminder, right? That doesn't mean that everyone who disagrees with a particular point of doctrine needs to be excluded from our fellowship, but we want to be careful of those who are deliberately coming in and stirring up divisions among the brothers, among the church. We need to, of course, stand against false doctrine, and these things are all very important. Like I said, we've got some really, really important news to break down for you guys, including what's going on with the FAA. Turns out they don't want white men driving so many airplanes. They want some diversity there. So we'll come to that. You also have kids at government indoctrination centers being used to market big pharma products and vaccines to the public. Cash prizes paid for by taxpayers. They serve as good propaganda. So we'll get into all that in a moment. But before we do, folks, you know that the world is losing its mind. I mean, things are getting really, really weird. The World Economic Forum says we're coming toward a poly-crisis. They're engineering a border collapse. They're engineering an economic collapse. They are destroying our food supply. They're destroying our currency. They're destroying our dollar. They're destroying our country, and they're doing it on purpose. And so I don't know about you guys, but for me and my family, we don't want to be caught unaware. We don't want to be caught unprepared. So we have partnered with My Patriot Supply. If you go to preparewithsentinel.com, that's preparewithsentinel.com, you're going to see some incredible exclusive deals, including, and I love this one for folks who are just getting started with this, maybe can't afford a year-long emergency food supply. Well, you can get a 4-week emergency food supply with a $60 discount. So normally that's going to cost you almost $240. Right now you can get it for about $175. That is if you go to preparewithsentinel.com. That's preparewithsentinel.com. Huge discounts there. And really, folks, I've been using them for years, and things are getting weird, as you have probably noticed. So this is the country's largest preparedness company. They have really good products, things that I've been purchasing for years. These things will last for up to 25 years. You get 2,000 calories a day. And right now, if you're just getting started on this, again, you can get a 4-week emergency food supply for $60 off the usual sticker price. They're always running great exclusive deals, and that's only available at preparewithsentinel.com. That's preparewithsentinel.com. So go check it out. All right, folks, let's get to the news here. Just incredible what's happening. You've got a Washington, D.C. jury has just awarded $1 million to Professor Michael Mann. There he is. He's the guy responsible for the so-called hockey stick, the phony, fraudulent graph making you think that CO2 is pollution and is cooking the planet. He still hasn't released his data, right? The university administration covered it up. And so 2 writers, one writer and a broadcaster, conservative broadcaster Mark Stein, just lost a defamation trial. They had basically drawn a parallel between how Penn State University covered up for Sandusky, the pervert and child rapist, and how they covered up for Michael Mann for fiddling with the data, and deceiving people. And so in this so-called trial, they never showed that Mark Stein and the other writer were wrong in terms of what they said about his manipulation of the data, in terms of what they said about the university administration trying to cover up for him. They also, the defense witnesses actually showed that Professor Mann is a really nasty individual, right? If you go follow his Twitter, he's blocked me on Twitter, so I can't follow him. But if you go follow him on Twitter, you'll see that he is constantly attacking Republicans, conservatives, people who deny the science. He calls them white supremacists and climate deniers and paid shills of the oil industry, right? But a little bit of his own medicine apparently is intolerable. So Mann has now supposedly received $1 million award. We'll see. I have a suspicion this is going to be appealed, and I have a suspicion that once you get outside of the crazy D.C. area, the courts are not going to be so friendly to this violent assault on free speech. But folks, this is just terrible, right? And this is a warning to all journalists, to all commentators. Hey, you better not criticize the sacred cows of climate science, and so, you know, climate science, I should put in air quotes, or they will come after you. It's atrocious. This should not be happening in America. And I'll say it clearly: Professor Michael Mann and his joke climate alarmism is a scam, and it is misleading all of humanity, at least part of humanity. Most Americans don't even believe this nonsense, but it is what it is, folks. We've got to stand up against this. Now, another horrible, horrible thing in New Hampshire, Representative Amanda Toll is actually holding her newborn baby in her arms on the floor of the New Hampshire House, talking about her bill, promoting her bill to murder more babies. And I wish it were a joke. It's not funny at all, but look at this.
When I was a teenager, I accessed abortion care that has allowed me to go to college, to graduate school, to receive an MED, to teach, and to be a state representative. And it allowed me to have my children when I was ready, both physically and emotionally, including the baby girl I gave birth to just last week.
Imagine that, standing on the floor of a legislative body, talking about how you sacrificed your child to the idol of whatever it was. She got her degrees and stuff. I'm sure she's very pleased with her degrees. So she sacrificed her child to the idol of success and education. And what has she got to show for it? Well, I'll leave that up to you. Over in Massachusetts, very nearby, you've got the lesbian governor of Massachusetts nominating her ex-girlfriend to the state Supreme Court. And she's no problem with it. Watch.
Massachusetts governor has nominated her former lesbian girlfriend to the state Supreme Court.
Was there no one else more qualified? No.
Murray Healy and Gabriella R. Wahoojian spent more than 8 years together and even shared a home.
I had a personal relationship with Judge Wolahojian for many years, so I happen to also know something about her character and integrity and the kind of person she is.
The state Republicans called on Healy to withdraw the highly inappropriate nomination. The governor, however, defended her choice.
I don't want the fact that she had a personal relationship with me to deprive the Commonwealth of a person who's most qualified for the position.
Yeah, how unfortunate that would be to deprive the poor people of Massachusetts of this state Supreme Court governor or justice. Truly incredible, folks. More craziness. You probably heard about the shooting at a church in Texas, Joel Osteen's church. What you probably didn't hear, because the fake media is doing their best to bury this story, is that the shooter was a transgender individual carrying a gun that said "Free Palestine" on the side of it. The name is Janice Yvonne Moreno, alias Jeffrey Escalante. Transgender individual walked into church with a 5-year-old boy and started shooting up the place. According to law enforcement, the AR-15 had "Free Palestine" written on the side of it. Now, the shooter did try to massacre people, but thankfully this attempt was thwarted. She or he or whatever was only able to hurt one person, and law enforcement officers thankfully did their job and took down the suspect before any more damage could be done. But this is just what our society's coming to, folks. It's so sad, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You know, we don't want to dwell on this stuff, but it's important that you see what's happening to our country. It's terrible. fake media is going to lie to you and lie to you some more, but we need to be in prayer about all of these things. Now, over in New Jersey, I'm working on an article about this right now. Over in New Jersey, they're recruiting school children to serve as shills for Big Pharma and the vaccines. They're offering them big bucks paid for by the taxpayers. They make little videos promoting COVID shots and other shots to the people of New Jersey. To say this is highly inappropriate would be the understatement of the century. Using children as propagandists for a scandal-plagued industry, using tax money to produce propaganda for a scandal-plagued industry that's got most of the legislators on the payroll is disgusting. And in my opinion, it ought to be considered a criminal offense. This is an outrage, folks. This is an absolute outrage. Now, turning to Brazil, which is near and dear to me since I lived there for many years. It's one of my homes. They're now persecuting the president. They're taking this to a whole new level, right? This is like what we're seeing with Donald Trump, except even crazier. Brazilian police announced late last week that they had actually confiscated his passport to make sure he could not leave the country. They are accusing him of trying to overturn the election results. Of course, the communists stole the election down there just like they did up here. And they're accusing the president of trying to overturn the phony election results and start a coup d'etat. They've already arrested multiple people within Bolsonaro's inner circle, including some of his former ministers. They actually have said publicly that they plan to arrest the former president in the not too distant future. A law enforcement source was quoted in the fake media saying he's a powerful political figure, so it's better to wait for the indictment and conviction before arresting him. A precautionary arrest would open up a room for allegations of political persecution. No persecution here, folks. Nothing to see. They're actually following the same script in Brazil as they are here. They even had a phony January 6th, except they did theirs on January 8th, where agent provocateur and evildoers misled a bunch of people into the parliament, the Congress there, to try to protest the very obvious election fraud. Now, we just had the Super Bowl yesterday. I didn't watch it, but RFK had an ad, and I want to share it with you because he's apologizing now if it offended anybody in his family. He, of course, didn't put it out. It was actually put out by the American Values Super PAC, but check this out.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through? A man who's old enough to know
And young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
American Values 2024 is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
So he actually put out a statement on Twitter afterwards. Some of his family members criticized him. He says, "I'm so sorry if the Super Bowl advertisement caused anyone in my family pain. The ad was created and aired by American Values Super PAC without any involvement or approval from my campaign. FEC rules prohibit Super PACs from consulting with me or my staff. I love you all. God bless you," is what Kennedy said on Twitter. So there you go, folks. This is a wild card in the campaign. People are wondering who's he going to take more votes from, Trump or Biden. I suspect Biden, but we shall see. Now, two more final things. New footage just broke from Michael Walsh exposing top leadership at the FAA, which is supposed to be focusing on making sure our transportation system works, our air system works. So senior officials there at their Flight Program Operations Division are hoping to reduce the number of white men involved in aviation. I want to show you this clip from FAA Acting Deputy Chief Operating Officer Angela McCullough saying we need a lot less white people. Check it out.
But yeah, we need to be willing to have a conversation about kind of what's standing in our way from approaching some of these things differently than we have historically approached them, and just even the internal bias. I mean, particularly in flight ops, your whole program is very heavily male dominated. It just is, and really, it is white male dominated. Let's just say what it is, and so let's be willing. That is today what it is, and then let's talk about what could the future look like if we really had this program that was representative of the whole country, right, of the whole world. And sometimes those are challenging or difficult, or I would say people get a little bit uncomfortable talking about that, and like, hey, we're not going to make change unless we get a little bit uncomfortable. And let's be uncomfortable together, and let's do the right things and support each other moving forward. So I don't know if you wanted all that, but you got it, sir.
Yeah, not racist at all. Right? Unbelievable, folks. Absolutely unbelievable and disgusting. Talk about racism and sexism. Now, the Ukraine funding bill that you probably heard about that Mitch McConnell, Rhino in the Senate, helped jam through, actually sets the stage for Trump to be impeached once he gets into office. So Senator J.D. Vance just sent a memo to all of his Republican colleagues in Congress, letting them know that buried in the text of this bill is an impeachment time bomb, as he calls it, so that when Trump comes in and tries to stop sending our tax dollars, really dollars that the government is borrowing on behalf of our children and our grandchildren, then he will be impeached for violating the budget bill. So this is like the same thing they did before, only worse. And let's see how many rhinos will support this in the House, folks. This is an outrage. It needs to stop. They're setting up Donald Trump again and again, and they'll keep doing it again and again and again. Now, some other news coming out of the Middle East. Israel has just unveiled a new set of tunnels that they just discovered in Gaza, right under the headquarters of the UN agency for so-called refugees. The Israeli military says it found these tunnels underneath their headquarters, and that the militants, the Hamas terrorists, were using it as an electrical supply room. Pretty amazing that the UN didn't know that terrorists were operating right underneath their headquarters, right? They could have just walked downstairs and figured it out, but no, they didn't know, apparently, right? They didn't know. All right. Folks, you ought to shut down the UN. This is a disgrace. This is totally, totally incredible. Stay with us. We're going to be right back with our guest, Elena Barbara. She's a mother turned YouTuber who's got a new film out about groomers in the schools. You're going to want to catch this. Stay tuned.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Are you concerned about the economy? Are you concerned about the education system that is pouring radical, immoral, and unsafe ideas into your children's minds? Are you concerned about the rapidly declining moral condition of our nation and fear that your children won't enjoy the standard of living, the safety, and the peace that you and your parents have experienced? Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge." But Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." That's why Greater Than I Ministries is offering a special biblical worldview teaching combo that includes the Thinking Like a Christian video series, along with our new You Are What You Think textbook series, designed to equip couples, church groups, and homeschool families to apply the Bible everywhere. You can get this life-changing series now by going to gtimin.com and clicking the green banner at the top. That's gtimin.com and click the green banner at the top. You'll be blessed.
We are here to defend democracy for the people.
Sentinel Report, Alex Newman here, folks. And do check out our sponsors. Get over to MyPillow.com. Use that promo code Newman. Huge discounts on great pillows, blankets, towels, slippers, dog beds, you name it, they've got it. And when you use that promo code Newman, the prices just fall away. It's quite amazing. And then Patriot Mobile, folks, get to patriotmobile.com/Newman and get a free activation for your new phone plan and stop using evil, woke companies for your phone system, right? Start using a patriotic company that supports the values that we all share. Our guest today is Ilana Barbara. She was an average American mother turned unlikely YouTuber on her son's channel, and she was tired of watching her country burn from the sidelines. So she decided to pick a battle and fight it with her new documentary. It's called American Groomer. It tells the story of how American children are actually being sexualized in the schools, how it came to pass that in 39 states it is legal to show porn to children in government indoctrination centers. And it's just truly, truly incredible. You guys who watch this program regularly know a lot of this stuff, but powerful new film, American Groomer. Ilana, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us. Talk about this issue of the porn in the schools. I mean, I think to a lot of people, that's like, wait, what? Porn is allowed in the schools? And yet it is, right? Talk about this.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Yeah, the porn is in the schools in the form of graphic novels and where there are illustrations of absolutely adult content, things that no child should ever be exposed to. It's also in the form of long form written novels where there are stories and sexual acts being described in a way that, used to only be available in Penthouse and Playboy, and now they're in middle schools. And even at the kindergarten level in some schools, they are talking about sexual identity, sexual attraction, a little bit of S&M in a book, for example, called Grandpa's Pride, where there are pictures of the grandpa at a pride parade dressed in an S&M costume. And, it's really hard to imagine that this happened, but it's been happening slowly over decades. And the one thing I have to say to people is they think it's not in their state. They think it's a red state or a blue state issue. It is not. It is in all 50 states. And there are activists out there trying to put together lists, school by school by school, to let people know where this stuff is.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrific. And you're right, it is in all 50 states. I keep running into that. People in conservative states say, oh, well, that's what happens in New York and Illinois, not here. It is everywhere, folks. It is absolutely ubiquitous. It's in the most conservative areas of the country. It is everywhere. I think we have a preview for this film. I want to air it. Reagan, if you could go ahead and roll that preview, we'll come back right after that.
The effort to ban books is accelerating across this country.
Are you guys familiar with either of these books?
This is in school?
I don't think it will be shown in a school. I don't think it's a part of education.
Up until about 5 minutes ago, I was just your average American mother. Then Sunny put me on YouTube and we started speaking our minds.
Have you heard of the based mother?
What started out as fun has turned into a mission I never saw coming. One to protect America's children from being sexualized by our school system.
What would you think of a teacher that wanted to talk about this with his or her students?
They should be jailed.
The teachers are not responsible for teaching my great-grandchildren how to stick it up somebody's ass.
Well, if you or I gave it to kids in school, parents would have us locked up. It's literally sexual abuse of children.
I think that's what makes books like these really important and in a lot of ways beautiful toward the human experience, because they tell us what it's like to be someone else.
You won't hear this on the mainstream media, but these really important books are loaded with filth that isn't fit for children.
This gotta get out. I love all kind of people, all genders, but this is wrong for a child to see that right now.
I showed these books on YouTube and got banned for it, but that's all right. I brought it to people the Gen X way, face to face.
Showing a child pornography and forcing a child to have sexual conversations. That is in the definition of sexual abuse.
While I was out there, I found out it was even worse than I imagined.
I can get arrested for showing it to a kid in the mall, but if I cross the threshold into a school, it's okay to show it to them there.
Right.
Oh my God. There's no reason for that to be given to kids.
Now that you've gotten a glimpse into these books, will you be adding these to your homeschool curriculum?
Absolutely not.
I feel like it's better that they learn it in school.
It's just sick, absolutely sick. Ilana, why are they doing this? Why do you think they want to sexualize children and expose them to this sort of completely inappropriate content?
Truly, I have my theories, but I can't say why. There is no good explanation for this except it is pure evil. I have, or maybe my mind just isn't sick enough to operate and figure out that way and figure out why people want to know who a little girl or a little boy is sexually attracted to. It makes no sense to any reasonable person who for thousands of years of recorded history, it has been the norm to protect children's innocence and keep them safe. And now they've tried to flip this on their head. And if you don't agree with it, you're a bigot, you're a transphobe, you're a homophobe, you're a white supremacist, and so on. We know all the names they call us, when all we want to do is honor human nature, honor children's innocence. For some of us, like me, like you, it is also about following the word and sticking to what, God has taught us. But you don't even need the Bible to know that children should be protected.
Yeah, you'd think that'd be pretty basic. And I know you even featured the gays against groomers in there. There are even activist homosexuals who are speaking out against some of these atrocities being perpetrated against our children. So, it's pretty common sense that these things ought not be happening. Elena, what do you think we need to be doing about this? I mean, I've been telling parents for over a decade, get your children out of these brainwash camps. But as far as you're concerned, what are the solutions? What should parents be doing?
That is the first thing I tell people too. I know it's extremely upsetting to think that we should turn the whole system upside down, but we have to, it's a supply and demand issue. If we pull our children out of the schools, they will collapse, and they will need to either stay collapsed or be rebuilt in a way that is good for children, because we're also failing them academically on top of overwhelming these children with sexual content. I think in the meantime, parents also need to be joining local school board meetings on the regular basis, running for school board seats. They also need to be getting on top of their legislators about removing the obscenity exemption statutes that make it legal to show this stuff to children in school. And they also, in states where it's not legal, need to be going after criminal prosecution of teachers that are doing this to the children, because they can be criminally prosecuted in 11 states, as they should be. Even though, for example, in New Jersey, they're trying to take away the criminal prosecution for showing pornography in schools and libraries. They're trying to make it legal there. So parents need to really dig in. For me, I put as much information in this short film as possible so that parents can have something to hold on to and have some facts to arm themselves with when they're going to their school boards and they're going to their legislators. And I made it free to watch because I think we are in a very, very dangerous situation for our children. And I don't care if I get paid. As many people as possible need to know the truth about what's going on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And folks, it's absolutely true. I have worked with legislators across the country trying to remove these exemptions on the criminalization of pornography for children. And what you find is as soon as a bill gets introduced, all the perverts come out of the woodwork, the big, powerful organizations, the teachers' unions, they all come out. Oh, no, this is bad for children. These are book burners and blah, blah, blah. Totally disgusting and ridiculous, and yet they are so powerful. Elena, before we let you go, we're down to about 1 minute. How can people watch this film? You mentioned it was out there for free. Where do people go if they want to watch it?
They can go to my website. It's at AmericanGroomerFilm.com. And again, right there on the homepage, you can see the film. Just click play, and it's yours to have. AmericanGroomerFilm.com, AmericanGroomerFilm.com. Elena, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for putting your time into this to protect our children. They are the most important thing. So I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for all the work that you've done. Thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we are out of time. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for faithfully supporting our sponsors. And I hope you will stay tuned. Much more coming. God willing, we shall be with you again tomorrow. I hope you'll be there for that. Until then, thanks again for watching, and God bless you all.
Are you concerned about the economy? Are you concerned about the education system that is pouring radical, immoral, and unsafe ideas into your children's minds? Are you concerned about the rapidly declining moral condition of our nation and fear that your children won't enjoy the standard of living, the safety, and the peace that you and your parents have experienced? Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge." But Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." That's why Greater Than I Ministries is offering a special biblical worldview teaching combo that includes the Thinking Like a Christian video series, along with our new You Are What You Think textbook series, designed to equip couples, church groups, and homeschool families to apply the Bible everywhere. You can get this life-changing series now by going to gtimin.com and clicking the green banner at the top. That's gtimin.com and click the green banner at the top. You'll be blessed.